Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back in another video, and today we return with college football predictions. As today we will be previewing and predicting games for week 7. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Week 7, I've been looking forward to this week probably since week 4, week 5. As I've saw so many marquee matchups that have so many college football playoff that can affect the college football playoff overall. And this is just going to be a massive, massive week for tons of teams. This is a great week for Ohio State to be on a bye, as there could be an easy amount of chance, or a big time chance, that top tier teams lose this weekend. So I just want to get into the predictions. Let's hop straight into it. The first game we'll be talking about is number 10 Penn State going into the Big House to face number 5 Michigan. And this has all the chances in the world to affect the Big Ten East, as both teams will eventually play Ohio State, of course. But the winner of this, if they beat Ohio State as well, they have the clear front row seat to win the Big Ten East and represent the East in the the Big Ten championship. And Michigan, they are a top 5 team, but the toughest team they've really faced is Maryland at home. They struggled a little bit for the first half versus Indiana, but then they picked it back up like they have a few times this year as well. But then with Penn State, they have a few good wins, but then they have a few ugly wins as well, as that Northwestern win a few weeks ago, only scoring 17. I know it was like torrential rains or whatever, but still that wasn't the best look for Penn State, and it was a much needed bye week as they head into this massive, massive game. And overall, I just think this is a 50-50 game. The home team would win this game. I'm going to take Michigan. I'm more confident in Jim Harbaugh as a coach and this staff, especially on the defensive side. That defensive staff has just looked phenomenal with the amount of talent they've lost. And the main weakness for Michigan so far this year has been their secondary. And Penn State this year has been very iffy passing the ball with Sean Clifford. So I think that's going to be a little plus for Michigan in some of these games. And overall, I think Nick Singleton will be able to run versus his defense, and I do think Penn State will be able to slow down J.J. McCarthy. But I think Blake Corum's going to have a big game. Both of these running backs are going to have big games. But overall, as a team and staff, I have a little bit more confidence in Michigan. And since this is a home team, give me the Wolverines at home 26-21. The next game is number 3 Alabama going into Knoxville to face the number 6 Tennessee Volunteers. And for me, it's just one thing. If Bryce Young plays this game, Alabama's going to win. If not, Tennessee's going to win, in my opinion. Tennessee has looked phenomenal, and they have, quote-unquote, the best resume, but I think that's getting a little blown out of perspective, as all of those top 3 ranked wins, all of them are not there anymore. Pitt is not really looking good. Florida's very iffy. And then LSU, I don't even know why they were ranked last week to begin with. I understand they were like 4-1, but still, LSU was not deserving to be ranked as of that time. And even though Tennessee has looked dominant in all those games, excluding that Pitt game, which did go to overtime. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be without Cedric Tillman again, so that could be a big blow for this Tennessee team. But throughout the season, that really hasn't seemed to be a big issue, as this offense just continues to thrive with or without Cedric Tillman at wide receiver. But then on the other side for Alabama, they do not look like a top 5 team with Jalen Milroe. And I love Jalen Milroe, but Bryce Young makes this Alabama team a top 1, 2, 3 team. But if you take Bryce Young out of this team, Alabama's a top 7 team, I would say. But they're not a top 5 team. And that's why I said, I think the score of this game is going to be somewhat close either way if Bryce Young does play or he doesn't play. So the score I have for this game is 38-33. I think Tennessee will cover the spread either way. But the winner of this game is based on if Bryce Young will play or not. If Bryce Young plays, give me Bama on the road. If he doesn't play, give me the Vols with a massive upset at home. Next game I'll be talking about is number 7 USC going into Salt Lake City to face the number 20 Utah Utes. And I thought this was going to be a lot more, for rankings-wise, a lot closer of a game. But Utah went into LA last week and got upset by UCLA, as UCLA... Them, USC, and Oregon look like the top 3 teams in the Pac-12 currently. And this is a massive trap game for USC. This is probably their first true test of the season. They basically destroyed Washington State at home last week, and I was a big believer in Washington State. But I'm just going to take USC in this game. I don't know how Utah's going to be. I thought they would bounce back last week, at UCLA. That was not the case. And I just think this USC defense at certain points in this game will be able to stop Cam Rising and Tavion Thomas on that rushing attack. And that defense is going to make some big-time stops. And even though Clark Phillips has been dominant, he can't cover all these wide receivers that USC has. Expect Caleb Williams to be throwing the ball. And I'm going to expect a few big-time touchdowns for USC on the offensive side of the ball. Give me USC in a close game, 34-32 on the road. Next game is probably the two best Big 12 teams as of this point in time. Number 8 Oklahoma State versus number 13 TCU. And I was completely wrong about TCU entering this year. I had them like going 4-8. They're already 5-0. They've already exceeded my expectations. Sonny Dykes has this offense looking really good, and this defense for TCU is a very underrated in my personal opinion based on what I've seen. And then Oklahoma State, they just continue to find ways to win. That's what Mike Gundy does with this Cowboys team, and I think that's going to be the case once again. TCU, this may be a game where TCU looks like they deserve the win, but I'm more confident in Mike Gundy and the staff at Oklahoma State to get a big-time win on the road, and there's a lot more certainty on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, in my opinion, with this Oklahoma State team. Give me the Cowboys to upset TCU, I think, on the road, 34-31. Next game I'll be talking about is number 15 NC State going up to New York to face the number 18 Syracuse Orange. And just like how we just talked about Alabama, Tennessee, and how Bryce Young playing or not playing will have a huge impact with my prediction in the overall game, we have the same instance here. Devin Leary got hurt towards the latter half of that Florida State game. The NC State did survive at home due to just a bad play overall from the Seminoles, and Jordan Travis threw an interception. So NC State did survive at home. But if Devin Leary doesn't play this game, I'm going to be concerned. Syracuse has a really good offense. Garrett Schrader at quarterback's been phenomenal. Sean Tucker is a top 10 running back in college football. So Syracuse does have the weapons to defeat this NC State team at home. Also, they have some big-time secondary guys as well to help out that Orange defense. But I think if Devin Leary plays this game, the Wolfpack will survive on the road 23-21. But if Devin Leary's out, I think Garrett Schrader and Sean Tucker on the offensive side will take advantage of that. Give me the Orange if Devin Leary's out, 23-21. Next game I'll be talking about is number 4 Clemson going on the road to Tallahassee to play the Florida State Seminoles. And based on everything, you would think Clemson should win this game. But in my gut is telling me take Florida State with the upset. This has upset written all over it. Clemson seems like a dominant playoff team. They seem to have everything going. Florida State just lost 2 straight. They look good in those 2 losses, I will say that. And this is a 7:30 ABC game. It's just a prime time example of a classic upset, and I'm going to take it. I think Florida State's going to pull out the upset and defeat the number 4 Clemson Tigers at home, 36-34. This is going to be a great game, but overall, I think Johnny Wilson is going to be able to cook this Clemson secondary. He's going to have a monster game. I think Jordan Travis is going to be furious after that, the game-losing interception last week he had on the road at NC State. I think Jordan Travis is going to have a bounce-back game versus another good defense. And Clemson's going to look good, but I think Florida State is somehow, miracles are going to be in the air. Give me the Seminoles with a big-time upset. I think DJ could throw an interception late that wins this game for Florida State. I think Will Shipley should be able to do good. But Florida State, the big thing is, will these players that had injuries last week be able to play? But either way, I'm going to take this upset. Give me the Seminoles at home. Next game is number 16 Mississippi State going on the road to face the number 22 Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's just lost 2 straight games at Ole Miss, and then last week at home versus South Carolina. But Will Levis did not play last week, and that was the main reason why Kentucky lost this game. And just like the Alabama game we already talked about, and just like the NC State game we just talked about, it's going to be another example. If Will Levis plays, Kentucky wins. If not, Mississippi can win. The only issue is, unlike the games before being close either way, if Will Levis doesn't win this game, I think Mississippi State is going to pull away and win big time on the road. So if Will Levis plays, I'm going to take Kentucky 27-23 at home. But if Mississippi State plays good and Will Levis is out for the Wildcats, give me Mississippi State 35-23. Next game we'll be talking about is Kansas on the road at Oklahoma. Kansas just lost their first game of the season. They didn't move down in the rankings as they are still on the 19th best team, or ranked team I should say. And then Oklahoma's on a 3-game losing streak, and you just got shut out in one of the biggest rivalries in all college football to Texas, 49-0. I think Oklahoma's going to have a bounce back game. Jalen Daniels being hurt is still a big time thing. Will he play? We don't know. But I think Kansas, either way, is going to take advantage of this Oklahoma team just not looking good overall. And as I think the Jayhawks will go into Norman and win a big-time game for their program, 34-24. That's if Jason Bean starts a quarterback like I'm assuming, or Jalen Daniels actually does come back and start for the Jayhawks. Next game we'll be talking about is North Carolina versus Duke. And even though this is probably the best college basketball rivalry, this is a football game. But either way, both of these teams, football-wise, have been looking really good this year. North Carolina with Mac Brown, that offense looks elite. The only issue is that defense is absolutely pathetic. And then what Mike Elko is doing at Duke is really good. So I think either way, this game's going to be close. But I'm just confident in North Carolina's offense. That offense is just plain out elite with Drake May at quarterback. And either way, it's just going to be depending on how many points will this North Carolina defense allow. I have North Carolina winning this game 42-34. Next game is Minnesota versus number 24 Illinois. And Illinois, this is the first time they've been ranked in a long time. And that's mainly because of what Brett Bielema is doing with this defense, and then also with Chase Brown offensively. But then Minnesota is just coming off a bye and then a bad loss at home versus Purdue. And I think since Mo Ibrahim is actually going to be most likely playing in this game, I'm going to have the Golden Gophers going into Champaign and beating the Fighting Illini 21-17. This is going to be a really good game to watch. Probably one of the most underrated games this upcoming weekend. Next game is Washington State versus Oregon State, and this is a big-time Pac-12 North game. Both teams, actually, I was about to say both teams are coming off losses. Washington State's coming off loss, but Oregon State had a fantastic way to end the game last week at Stanford and won on the road. But I'm still have a few questions with this Oregon State team. And personally, I think Washington State just had a bad week. They're going to bounce back with a road win. Give me the Cougars on the road with Cam Ward, 32-23. And a game that probably heading into the season had tons of hype. Baylor at West Virginia. This is going to be a midweek game. This is on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. But both of these teams have been somewhat disappointing this year, especially Baylor for me. But personally, I'm a big fan of Dave Aranda still. You almost came back and defeated Oklahoma State a few weeks ago. Give me the Baylor Bears on the road here in Morgantown, 28-24. And it's just going to be able to see if JT Daniels can score on this defense. And I think at certain points he will. I think Baylor at the end of the day will get a few big-time stops towards the end of this game. Give me the Bears on the road. And now we have my bets of the week. Now, as of this recording, I'm recording it earlier because I'm going to be busy towards the end of the week. This is as of Monday, by the way, of this upcoming week. So these odds could be changing. If there's a massive change, I'll let you know in the comment section below. But the first over-under. I'm going to take the over 54.5 for Auburn at Ole Miss. Ole Miss scored 52 by themselves last week versus Vanderbilt. And even though I'm not sure how exactly this Auburn defense is going to be facing versus this Ole Miss team, I think they will be able to at least score like 10, 17 points, I would say, for Auburn. As I think Ole Miss is just going to plain out dominate this game. This game could be very sloppy, but I think at the end of the day, I will take this over 54.5. Next game is going to be James Madison at Georgia Southern, and I'm actually going to take the under 64.5 here, and it's mainly just because I'm that much confident in this James Madison defense. They were ranked in the top 25, exactly at 25 in a matter of fact. It's crazy how in the first 5 games of their program history, they're already ranked. That's just showing you how great this James Madison team is. And I understand Clay Helton is the head coach at Georgia Southern, my bad. But I'm not sure how much points will be scored with this Georgia Southern offense against this basically elite James Madison defense. I'm confident James Madison will at least be able to score around 28 in this game as they did versus App State a few weeks ago. But I'm not sure if either team will be able to surpass that 30 mark. And if one team does, it's probably going to be James Madison, as Georgia Southern's probably getting blown out like a 31-17. Take the under in this game. Next bet is probably the most surprising one. I'm going to take the plus 14 for Nebraska as they go on the road to face Purdue. And this is mainly not for the talent. I think it's just mainly for the coaching. As of this recording, Matt Rule just got fired as the Carolina Panthers head coach. And the main destination everyone's pointing him to is Nebraska. As we all know, Scott Frost was just fired there. And I think this is just going to be a game for Mickey Joseph saying, yo, calm down the Matt Rule hype. I want to be this head coach here in Nebraska, as that's probably the main reason why Mickey Joseph left LSU to go to Nebraska for the first place, to have a chance to become head coach for this Cornhuskers team. And I'm not saying Nebraska is going to win anything. I think Purdue's probably going to win by 9 or 10 points. But don't be surprised if Nebraska keeps this close. And I think Mickey Joseph, this is going to be a win that he's truly going to want to get. Give me the Huskers plus 14.5. And the final bet is going to be Louisiana Tech at North Texas. I'm going to take the minus 6.5 for North Texas. This North Texas offense has looked really, really good. And even though LA Tech's offense has looked really good, North Texas's defense, I'm more confident in. I'm not sure about the over-under. It's like 71 or something. But either way, I think North Texas will probably beat this Bulldogs team by a touchdown. Take the minus 6.5 for the Mean Green. And that is it for Week 7, a full-fledged weekend. Tons of good games. And I'm just going to be sitting back and watching as many games as I can. What a fantastic week of football we are going to have for this upcoming weekend. And yeah, like always, like, share, subscribe, push notifications on so you don't miss any of my videos. Make sure to share this video so we can grow this Elk NCAA community. I'm almost at 300 subscribers, so please share it out so we can hit that 300 subscribers goal. And like always, have a good day. Peace out.